Hello, how are you? I hope you are well. Today, we're going to take a step away from the engineering topics. I know I haven't posted enough content for that to be a move yet, but that's how we're framing it. And I'm just going to talk about just a little PSA, I guess you could say. My neighbor, he's looking for an IT job or something within program management, and he's been getting contacted from like a bunch of recruiters that are looking for his skill sets, looking for jobs. And something happened today when we were going out to lunch to discuss an opportunity that felt a little weird, felt a little wrong. So basically, we were driving there, and he's got the printouts of the job, and I'm going through the details with him, and it looks to be kind of like a process engineer, like a standard issue position. It's asking for the Six Sigma, it's asking for the Agile, it's asking for the Kanban, it's like standard stuff. So then his phone rings, and it's the recruiter calling him from the body language, from the stress that I felt immediately in the vehicle. It was not the first time he's called him that day, and he just asks for this information that he was looking for from my neighbor, and amongst those were like his LinkedIn profile, his phone number, good contact information, normal stuff. But then also within that documentation he was looking for was his social security number, his driver's license, his date of birth, like all of the things that could, if you weren't an upstanding individual, you could steal somebody's identity from him. And then along the way, he wanted him to accept the salary of somewhere around 100 grand. And while all that sounds really good, he wanted my like opinion on the role and on the job. And as I was giving him my opinion, I noticed this interaction happen, and then my opinion kind of changed because it started to sound a little bit more on like the scammy side of the world. But I haven't really looked in a while, and I haven't dealt with recruiters in a while. So I did post it onto my LinkedIn account with just like a post saying, "Hey, anybody that knows me that's a recruiter, can you chime in?" And a connection I had that used to be a recruiter mentioned, he's like, "Yeah, that's a little unusual. Usually, you only give out that sort of information, when there's a background check involved or when you're dealing with clearances. Not typically." And this was all before like the pre-interview, the first interview. So that kind of set up some red flags with me, and I shared that with him. And then I think he went from thinking that this was a good opportunity to then changing direction and saying, "Okay, well, maybe I should have my guard up, and maybe I should see this as a scam." And not saying that that is necessarily a scam, but I just know that when you're in a position where you know you don't have the advantage, and when you need and or want something from other people, there's always an opportunity to get taken advantage of online and be scammed. So I see a bunch of recruiter emails coming through on my inbox on a regular basis, and it's always kind of the same letterhead where it's recruiter agency X looking for typical position Y. Here are the details. Contact us if you need, if you want, you want to make more money or something like that. And when you call them, what happens is they run you through this gamut of saying, "Oh, this is a great opportunity, great position. Oh, it's a contract position," or like there's always like a detail or a catch behind it. So I just wanted my neighbor to just be aware that those things are typical and those things do exist. And I think we did our job. I think we did our job today. But yeah, so this is more of like a PSA note, a PSA notice. If anybody's looking for jobs, if anybody's looking for opportunities, just kind of be on the lookout for these um, types of engagements. And I would also say, like, never be afraid to go directly to the company that they're potentially hiring for, and just ask the HR department themselves, "Hey, is this position open? Can I apply for this position? Do you only work with recruiters?" Because that's kind of the issue here is some IT firms like exclusively hire through recruiting firms, and then you get hired on as like a contractor for the first year or so before you're actually made like an official employee or official full-time, an FTE or official full-time engineer. And so that's kind of like a widely known practice um, within like the big telcos when they hire a bunch of engineers that they don't want to pay for health insurance for, and then they just grab them and keep them on for a while and see if it works out. But I also do know like a lot of successful people that manage a career of contracts very successfully, and they're able to go like at 6 month periods and make a ton of money doing that because they're not locked into any one specific job, and then they can always renegotiate to a higher rate. Um, Personally, it's a little bit risky for my blood, but if you're able to do it, you can do it. So that's good. But so what do you think? Was my neighbor getting taken advantage of, or was this a run-of-the-mill recruiter just doing due diligence and collecting driver's licenses and social security information? That always raises a red flag with me. I did used to. I did have an experience with a recruiting firm. I haven't used them often, but when I was working in circuit board factories in like making my way through college, and when like 2008 when the whole economy blew up, those were the two instances where I had to work with recruiting firms. And what was evident to me, especially in the '08 scenario, was I needed a job immediately, like tomorrow, immediately. And I mean, it's no fault of their own, but they're not going to care as much about your career as you care about your career. And they're not going to be looking as hard for roles and for jobs for you as much as you personally could be if you really need one. That was back, in '08, where the economy also wasn't doing great. And I just noticed that like the drive wasn't there. So I ended up getting with the recruiter, but then also going and extending and finding jobs on my own. And I don't think they really liked that. But at the end of the day, I needed a job, and I didn't have an emergency fund, and my family was nowhere around. I was in a different state. So I couldn't really like wait around for the whole interaction to happen. So I ended up applying to a whole bunch of different places and ending up getting a direct hire position myself. But what do you know? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Firstly, do you think you got scammed? And secondly, have you had any interactions with recruiters? How did it go? Let me know, and we can continue the discussion. But for now, it is my mom's birthday, so happy birthday, Mom. And it's my birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday, me. And I'm gonna go play some games and just have some fun this weekend. So I'll still check in here though, because we're on a mission here. So I will see you tomorrow. I really appreciate it. Have a great night.